A message from Muad'Dib. About the New World Order, Nazi, war criminal banksters, and their war criminal puppet politicians. The masters of war, as Bob Dylan called them. Dear viewer, I hope this finds you well, in good spirit, and having a good day.
I do, like many of you, appreciate the comforts of the everyday routine, the security of the familiar, the tranquility of repetition.
Bloody hell.
I enjoy them as much as any bloke. But in the spirit of commemoration, whereby those important events of the past, usually associated with someone's death or the end of some awful bloody struggle, are celebrated with a nice holiday, I thought we could mark this November the 5th, a day that is sadly no longer remembered, by taking some time out of our daily lives to sit down and have a little chat. There are, of course, those who do not want us to speak. Why? Because while the truncheon may be used in lieu of conversation, words will always retain their power. Words offer the means to meaning, and for those who will listen, the enunciation of truth. And the truth is, there is something terribly wrong with this country, isn't there? Cruelty and injustice, intolerance and oppression. And where once you had the freedom to object, to think and speak as you saw fit, you now have censors and systems of surveillance coercing your conformity. How did this happen? Who's to blame? Well, certainly there are those who are more responsible than others, and they will be held accountable. But again, truth be told, if you're looking for the guilty, you need only look into a mirror. I know why you did it. I know you were afraid. Who wouldn't be? War, terror, disease. There were a myriad of problems which conspired to corrupt your reason and rob you of your common sense. Fear got the best of you. It is to Madame Justice that I dedicate this in honor of the holiday she seems to have taken from these parts, and in recognition of the impostor that stands in her stead.
So, let's sit down and have a little chat. The truth is that, to the banksters, you are only a human resource, like a disposable battery.
Let me tell you why you're here. You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. It is this feeling that has brought you to me. Do you know what I'm talking about? It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
What truth?
That you are a slave. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind. A dream world built to keep us under control in order to change a human being into this.
Literally, manpower. Where once you were called personnel, they now callously call you human resources, to simply be used up and thrown away, like a dead, but not buried, battery. Their evil attitude is right there in your face, for those who have the eyes to see. How much plainer does it have to be before you see it as it really is? How can it be any plainer than that? Human resources.
Mr. Calvini, we'd like to know why the IBBC, a bank, would be purchasing hundreds of millions of dollars worth of missile guidance and control systems from your company.
The IBBC has purchased billions of dollars worth of Silkworm missiles from the People's Republic of China, which they have resold to clients in the Middle East, contingent upon the missiles being equipped with Vulcan guidance systems. My company is one of only 2 in the world which produce the Vulcan.
Who's the other?
Sunay. Ahmed Sunay.
Of Turkish Aerotech.
But why is the bank committing so much of its capital and resources to the sale of these missiles?
It's a test. Small arms are the only weapons used in 99% of the world's conflicts. And no one has the capacity to manufacture them faster and cheaper than China. What Skarsin is attempting to do is to make the IBBC the exclusive broker of Chinese small arms to the Third World. And the missile deal is the gateway transaction.
Yeah, but billions of dollars invested simply to be a broker. There can't be that much profit for them.
No, this is not about making profit from weapon sales. It's about control.
Control the flow of weapons, control the conflict.
No, the IBBC is a bank. Their objective isn't to control the conflict. It's to create conflict and to control the debt that the conflict creates. You see, the real value of a conflict, the true value, is in the debt that it creates. You control the debt, you control everything. You find this upsetting, yes? But this is the very essence of the banking industry. To make us all, whether we be nations or individuals, slaves to debt.
The Promoters of War, from the Goldsmiths, Part 2, by R.D. Bradshaw. Gutel Schnapper, wife of Mayor Amschel Rothschild, was once quoted as saying, "If my sons did not want war, there would be none." The Labour Leader newspaper of Britain, on the 19th of December 1891, referred to the Rothschilds and said, "This blood-sucking crew has been the cause of untold mischief and misery in Europe during the present century, and has piled up its prodigious wealth chiefly through fomenting wars between states which ought never to have quarrelled. Wherever there is trouble in Europe, wherever rumours of war circulate, and men's minds are distraught with fear of change and calamity, you may be sure that a hook-nosed Rothschild is at his games somewhere near the region of the disturbance." In Imperialism, writer J.A. Hobson wrote, "No great war could be undertaken by any European state if the House of Rothschild and its connections set their face against it." So, let us take a look at Adolf Hitler, the Third Reich and World War II as an example of the banksters at work. At the Treaty of Versailles, which was signed at the end of World War I, the majority of the people who were there were Ashkenazi counterfeit Jews, demanding that Germany pay reparations. Those reparations crippled Christian Germany and led to severe poverty, out of which sprang the saviour, der Führer Adolf Hitler, who was an illegitimate grandson of one of the Rothschilds' banksters, and his counterfeit Antichrist, thousand-year Reich or reign. Everything about the Ashkenazi is counterfeit, including their claim to be the biblical Jews and Semites. They are, as their name clearly states, descended from Noah's son Japheth's grandson Ashkenaz, via Japheth's son Gomer, not from Noah's son Shem or Sem, as they falsely claim. Therefore they are Japhethites, not Semites. Genesis chapter 10, verses 1 to 3. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and unto them were sons born after the flood. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog, and Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshech, and Tiras. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, and Riphath, and Togarmah. Thus they have absolutely no biblical right to 1 inch of the land of Israel that they have stolen from the true Israel with their counterfeit Jewish state in Israel, the same state that Adolf Hitler was the midwife of, because without him and their scam there would not be a Zionist counterfeit Jewish state in Israel today. So their incapacitating slur of anti-Semitism is a load of nonsense and a barefaced lie, because it is they themselves who are anti-Semites. They absolutely hate the true Israel, the British and Anglo-Saxon Americans, and thus have set out to enslave and destroy both nations through their banksterism and murderous war profiteering. Ashkenazi counterfeit Jew Henry Kissinger made a famous quote about how they really feel about you. Military men are just dumb, stupid animals to be used as pawns in foreign policy. Their counterfeit world domination, New World Order foreign policy, that they use you to die for, to create for them.